Okay. So, we have completed the chapter 2 up to the Nadi Shodhan, how we have to practice it, what is the procedure of doing Nadi Shodhan. Today will be the starting of chapter number 3, which is having total 75 verses, and this will be consisting mainly three components. One is about pranayam, one is about nad, and then the last will be about pratyahara. Okay. So we are going to discuss all these according to Vashistha Samhita in detail. In the very starting of chapter 3, it has been said by Maharishi Vasisht that, hey son, listen to me carefully. When we are talking about pranayam is resembling itself with prana. Prana, which we are chanting in the starting of the class, known as Om. This pranav is actually the central base of practicing pranayam. Okay. So when Vasisht is explaining what pranayam is, according to Vasisht Samhita, pranayam is actually the union of pran and apan vayu. And we have studied in chapter number 2 that there are five type of main pran and five type of uprans, which are considering in as a whole 10 types of vayus. Okay. Pran, apan, saman, udan, vyan, and five sub-vayus are nakun, kakar, devdat, and dhananjay. So the main two pran from the five, pranapan, samanvyanudan, the two main are pran and apan, which are consisting mostly all of the components of your body functioning. So when Vasisht is explaining pranayam, he is telling that pranayam is actually the union of pran and apan. One is moving upward, one is moving downward, and when they both combine together, then it is known as the practice of pranayam. Pranayam is having three parts in the practice. One is rechak. Rechak means controlled exhalation. Second is purak, that is known as controlled inhalation. And third is kumbhak. Kumbhak means the controlled retention of breath, either in between the inhalation or exhalation, or in the timing of exhalation. When we will learn about the types of pranayam, then we will see this retention of breath can take place after the rechak, before the rechak, after the purak, before the purak, or in between the rechak or purak. So that will be categorized as different names of pranayam, different names of kumbhak. Okay. So, as Vasisht said in the starting, that pranayam is very, very resembling with pranav, and pranav is the central base of pranayam. So now he is explaining this pranav is actually the unit of vowel in Vedas. All the vowels which are present there in Vedas, this pranav is the unit of all these vowels. How it is presenting as the unit of vowels? Because A or A, which we chant in Om, A is with inhalation combining all the words which ends up with A. Okay. Then U is for sustenance, and U is resembling retention. It means whenever we are chanting a word, whenever we are chanting a letter completely, there are some retention of breaths during the chanting of that one particular letter of any Veda. So when we are starting the chanting of any one word, we need to inhale. When we are proceeding with the chanting, we need to hold the breath to chant the word. And as the exhalation completes, more will be signifying the inhalation of the breath. So, in the same way, prana is combining with a, u, and ma, where a is resembling the creation with inhalation, u is resembling the sustenance or maintenance or nourishment. Any three of the words can be used for this. Okay. Sustenance, maintenance, or the nourishment, with the retention, with the holding, and ma is the resemblance of annihilation, okay, with the process of exhaling out the breath. So this pranav, which is consisting of U and Ma. Vasisth also explained the swaroop of pranav, that how this Om, how this pranav is actually having its own components. What components are combining together to make up this pranav, to make up the whole components of pranav? He is telling that A, which is also known as Akar in this pranav, is very much resembling a 16-year-old girl that is having a dand or a staff in his hand as a shastra, and that girl is riding over the swan, which is wearing a red colored suit over the body. It means when we are resembling a car is having the appearance of a 16-year-old girl with the red clothes, with the red color over the body, which is sitting over a swan and having a gun in his hand for the weapon, like the weapon. And the name of that girl is Goddess Gayatri. So that in Pranav is resembling to the Gayatri Mata, which is also known as the Janani of Vedas, which is also known as uh, who the one who preceded the Vedas. Okay. Then in the U in this Ukar is the resemblance of a 30-year young lady who is having white colored appearance over the body. It means the clothes of that woman, that young lady, is of white colors. So all the white light is coming out from that ukar. Okay, that lady of 30 year who is 30 year young and having white clothes. She is riding over the eagle. She is having wheel disc in his hand as a weapon, and her name is Chakradharani. Chakra means the wheel, Dharan means containing, and the another name of her is Lakshmi. In the same way, the makar of this Pranav Swaroop is containing the appearance of a 50-year-old lady who is having the clothes or the color of the body white and three eyes on the face. Like Mahakal, like Shiva, that lady is also having three eyes. Okay. One on the top of the head, which is at the place of Agya Chakra. And that lady is riding over the bull, and she has a spear in his hand, like the Shastra. And the name of the lady is Savitri or Saraswati or Maheshwari or Paschima. Any one of the name we can see which is written there in Vasishtha Samhita. So all in all, if we go to the Swaroop of Pranav, generally the question comes according to that, what is the color of A according to Vasishtha Samhita? Okay. Even though it is not the color of A, it is the resemblance color of that lady, which is the sign, which is having the sign A from Akar, from Ukar, from Makar. Okay. So if even the question comes without the name of the lady, without the name of the goddess, if it is asked directly, what is the riding animal of Akar? Then we must have to keep in mind that Akar is related to Gayatri, and Gayatri is sitting over the swan. So Akar will be connected to swan. Ukar in the same way is connected to Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is sitting over the eagle. So Ukar is connected to eagle, and then Makar. Makar is connected to Maheshwari, Paschima, Saraswati, Savitri, four names. And that lady who is having all these four names is sitting over the bull. So Makar is connected to bull. That is how we have to learn this. And if you learn this in a way of a story, it will be easy for you to learn. Okay. Then if you see in the 10th, 11th and 12th verses, it is it has been told that okay, this is the Swaroop of Pranav. But we are not talking about pranav, we are talking about pranayam. And in the back side, we have seen that pranav is very, very identical to pranayam, or pranayam is identical to pranav. So if we have understood what pranav is, what is the swaroop of pranav, now we have to understand how the swaroop of pranav is helping us to understand pranayam, and how the swaroop of pranav will give the actual practice, actual process of doing pranayam. Now, if you go in the pranayam is actually what? It is having three parts. In the starting, we have seen that. Rechak, Purak and Kumbhak. It means Rechak means exhalation, Purak means inhalation, and Kumbhak means retention. So here, pranayam comes with three steps. Inhalation, retention, and the last one is exhalation. Okay. According to Vasishtha Samhita, the process of doing pranayam is this. You have to inhale with Ida Nadi. Ida means the left nostril, left side of the Nadi. Okay. So in the outer perspective, we resemble Ida with the left nostril. We have to start inhaling with Ida Nadi up to the 16 matras. 16 counts means, okay, it can be 16 second, it can be 16 minutes, it can be 16 days. The timing you are capable of inhaling, okay. So matra is not only the second, matra can be keep increasing according to the capacity of your inhalation. So Vasisht is telling that start inhaling with ida up to the matras 16 with beej mantra in your mind, with mental repetition of a, then hold your breath up to 64 matras with the mental repetition of oo, and the exhalation will be done with the help of pingala. Matras will be 32. It means the timing of that retention will be according to, if inhalation is taking 16, then exhalation should be double of it. Okay, that is what the meaning of that matras are. And the chanting internal concentration should be on more. Then after doing this, you have to repeat the same process with opposite nadis. And what is the meaning of opposite nadis? We have started with inhalation. Inhale with Ida up to 16 matras with Bij mantra A. When the inhalation is completed, hold the breath up to 64 matras with Bij mantra U. And when 64 matras are completed, start exhaling and keep exhaling with Pingala up to 32 matras with the Bij mantra Ma. Now again, there will be the process of inhalation. And this time, this whole will be done as same, only these two nadis will be interchanged. It means because we have exhaled from Pingala with Ma, now we will be inhaling with Pingala. So that whole table will be changed. Inhale with, in place of Ida, we will write down Pingala. Okay. So inhale with Pingala up to the 16 matras with Bij mantra A. Then hold the breath up to 64 matras with Bij mantra U. And at the end, exhale with Ida Nadi. Exhale with the left nostril with Bij mantra Ma up to the 32 matras. That is one complete cycle. Okay. It is actually the process, if you see, which we practice as Anulom Vilom. Okay. But in Anulom Vilom, generally we do not practice retention in the normal practices. So pranayam is inhaling, like exhaling, like same as Anulom Vilom, but add up the value of retention, volume of retention in between that inhale and exhale, and that will become the practice of pranayam according to Vasishtha Samhita. And as the same, when we are practicing Anulom Vilom, if we are starting with left nostril, exhaling with right nostril, then again inhaling with right nostril, exhaling with left nostril, that has been counted as one cycle. In the same way, that one cycle is counted there in Vasishtha Samhita. And it is also said after these verses that one should have to practice this type of pranayam almost 16 times in a day. It means 16 rounds of this we have to practice. Okay. It is not mentioned that you completely do the 16 times of the cycle of pranayam in one go. It means only just sit one time and do 16 times of this. You can practice it in breaking, like 8 rounds in the morning, 8 rounds in the evening. There is only the counting of 16 in a day as a total. Okay. And then the benefits of practicing pranayam like this is defined. Very, very great sin is there, which is known as feticide. In Hindi, it is also known as bhrun hatya. It means killing a baby even before the baby comes out of the womb. Killing a live baby inside the womb is known as feticide, and that is known as a huge sin. In Hindi, we say it as mahapap. Okay, and it is said by Maharishi Vasisht, if any person has done a sin like feticide, if any person has done bhrun hatya, and if he practice the pranayam almost up to 1 month, he can he will be able to purify all the sins like feticide. Okay, so you can understand what is the impact of practicing pranayam like this. But before practicing pranayam like this, if you remember, this type of whole process is also shown in Nadi Shodhan. And when the Nadi Shodhan was there, almost the same process was there. Matras were different, Bij mantras were different, and the inhale, hold, exhale, hold. One holding was more there. Okay. So first you have to practice that Nadi Shodhan, and then you have to practice this pranayam. Then only it will work. Otherwise, what will happen? Which is also mentioned as the precaution, that if anyone is practicing the pranayama and pratyahara without practicing nadi shodhan, these supreme benefits of pranayama that person cannot get. Okay, so if a person wants to get these benefits of the pranayama, that person must have to do nadi shodhan first. And it is not the mean like just do the sin and practice pranayama and you will be pure. It is said just as the impact of that pranayama. If any person has done this type of sin by mistake or due to any situation which was not comfortable, due to a situation which was not right at that time, or there can be a different reasons. If any person has to do this by the virtue of time, then that person is guilty in itself, that why have I done this, but I don't have any other choice. That was the only thing what I can do best on that time. So that person will get the sin, and that person, if he is guilty, then he can make himself again pure, away from that impact of that sin by practicing this type of pranayam. This is why, that is why it is said that that is the impact of this type of pranayam practices. Then he said a person can reach to the supreme goal if he practice this type of pranayam. That person can become free from the hell. And what is the meaning of free from the hell? It is not the hell after the death. We are talking about the hell. Vasisth is also talking about the hell, which that person is feeling during the time of the period when he is alive, when he is doing all the things, but he is not able to express the things, when he is not 100% willingly living the life, then that person is known to live in hell. So if any person is doing pranayam like this, he can become free from hell. And you can understand this very, very practically. Why this point I am focusing more? Because when we are talking about the hell, hell is almost inside of us. Okay. Heaven is also inside of us. A person who is stuck so much in his own thoughts, who is overthinking a very small thing again and again and again, that person made their life hell by their own. And that hell is not only mental. If a person is having these type of mental issues, that person become physically ill also. Okay, so if that person started doing the whole practice, Nadi Shodhan first, and then goes into pranayam, within 1 month of the practice of pranayam, that person can become free from all his physical and mental ailments. And you can see this by your own also. Whenever you are so much stressed out, so much depressed out, psychologists also say that take deep breath in, inhale deeply. If practice is square breathing, they just named this type of pranayam as square breathing. And what is the meaning of square breathing? Inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. Okay, so in the same way, that is known as the benefit of pranayam according to Vasisth. And he again said that if person is practicing this type of pranayam, they can become free from the ocean of birth and death again and again and again. Okay. Here he has explained three stages of pranayam, or you can say these are stages of the sadhak who is practicing pranayam. Okay. So it can come by any name in the exam, that what are the stages of sadhak mentioned in Vasisth Samhita? What are the stages of pranayam mentioned in Vasisth Samhita? And how can these be the stages of pranayam and sadhak both? Because adham means that practice which is just at the beginning level. Madhyam means that practice which is at little bit over from the adham level, but not at the supreme level. And uttam means the supreme level of the practice. And what are the components? What are the signs by which we can know that what is adham, what is madhyam, and what is uttam? If a person is practicing pranayam and that person is getting sweat coming from the body, that stage is known as the lowest or the adham stage. If a person keep practicing, keep doing the pranayam, his body becomes almost comfortable. But now that person, during the practice of this pranayam, if that person is feeling trembling or shaking in the body when he is inhaling or exhaling, it means now his body is capable of feeling the vibration of inhale and exhale. It means that person has stepped up a little bit more. And in the Uttam stage, when a person can do complete inhalation, complete retention, and complete exhalation of 16, 32, and 64 times, okay, 64 matras, it almost covers 1.5 minute timing. If we consider 16 matras as 16 seconds, okay, so it consider almost more than 1.5 minute of whole one cycle. It means 3 minutes almost will be taken in one cycle of the pranayam. And we have seen that we have to practice 16 times a day. If we are taking 3 minutes in one cycle, it means if you practice pranayam according to these prescriptions, it will take almost 48 minutes. It means around 1 hour you will take in practicing 16 times of pranayam only. Okay. So if a person is capable of doing pranayam with that intensity up to 1 hour, because 1 hour keep practicing pranayam, most of the people are not able to do this. Okay. If a person becomes capable of doing this type of pranayam, and now his body is feeling very light, he is feeling lightness in the body, then it is known as the stage of pranayam uttam stage, or stage of the sadhak as uttam sadhak. Okay, both are true in this case. So one should continue to practice adham and madhyam stage of pranayam until they reach the uttam stage of pranayam. Until the uttam stage is achieved, they must have to keep practicing adham and madhyam pranayam. And it happens with the beginner practitioners, that when you tell them inhale deeply, they try to inhale by keeping the spine straight. Sometimes they complain that when I am inhaling, I am feeling like my blankness around the eyes. They are getting rounding of the vision. Okay, so that is because of the sweat coming out from the body at rapid speed. Okay, that's why it is known as Adham Pranayam, or the sadhak who is practicing like this is known as Adham Sadhak. Okay, then this Kumbhak is known to be of two types. Which Kumbhak we are talking about? That which we have learned in the last second slide. Kumbhak means this, the retention of the breath, right? So this Kumbhak is of two types. When this Kumbhak is done with Rechak and Purak, it means if we are practicing this consciously, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. That is known as Sahit Kumbhak. Sahit means when the Rechak and Purak is effortful, and when the Rechak and Purak is in your mind, that you are holding the breath with Rechak, with Purak, and Rechak, Purak are still there in your mind. But when the retention becomes comfortable, that you must not have to hold the breath consciously, it becomes holded automatically, even with the breath, even with Rechak, even with Purak, even after Rechak, before Rechak, after Purak. It means in any condition, if your breath becomes comfortable in retention of the air without exhalation and inhalation, then it is known as the practice of Keval Kumbha. And in the same way, as said in this slide, that we must have to keep practicing Adham and Madhyam Pranayam up until the Uttam stage is achieved. In the same way, one must have to keep practicing Sahit Kumbhak until the Keval Kumbhak is achieved. Because Keval Kumbhak is not something to practice. It is a type of advanced version of Sahit Kumbhak. So you must have to keep practicing Sahit Kumbhak, keep practicing Sahit Kumbhak, and ultimately when your body become comfortable, it will be converted automatically into Keval Kumbhak. It is something like this. If you are practicing physical Dhanurasana and you are not able to rotate your shoulder, what you can do is you can use a belt as a prop in your feet and round it, so that your shoulder will be become habitual of rounding. Okay, and you must have to keep practicing with that belt again and again and again until that your shoulder become comfortable in moving. And when your shoulder become comfortable in moving, then you can do the same practice with your hands on the feet. In the same way, if you keep practicing Sahit Kumbhak with the Rechak and Purak alternatively, then after a time, your breath will become comfortable in retention of the air anytime. Okay, that will not consider if Rechak is completed, if Purak is completed. It will be only capable of retention of the air anytime. Then it is known as Keval Kumbha. What are the benefits of Keval Kumbha? Known in Vasisth Samhita. If a person is practicing Keval Kumbhak, nothing is impossible to get in this world for that person. That person can achieve anything. The speed of mind will be very, very high. That person will attain the speed of mind. That person will be free from the wrinkles and old age, because wrinkles are the sign of old age. So that the skin of that person will all the time be young. Okay, that person keys is the death. That person can fight from the death. And if a person is continuously practicing Keval Kumbhak, they are capable of listening to the nad, which is a type of inner sound. Okay, so they can create the sensation towards the internal sounds of the body. Generally, there are so many sounds in our body which you can hear out, like the pumping of your heart. You can listen that to sound of lub dub lub dub. But other than that lub dub sound of the heart, there are so many other sound of the churning in your body. Because see, your digestive system, whole of your digestive system, which is started from the food pipe and goes to stomach, and then small intestine, large intestine, even the livers which are involved, liver, pancreas, etc. they all have a process of churning for the food, a process of releasing, process of pumping like system to release all the liquids which are essential for digestion of the food. So that movement must have to have a sound. These sounds are known as inner sound, but we are not able to, because our ears are not in the range of audibility for that frequency. But when we become aware of the body, if we are practicing kumbhak, just imagine if we are practicing pranayam for almost 1 year continuously like this, what will be happening to our body? Our ears will be getting more and more focused on the inner sounds rather than the outer sounds. So these inner sounds are actually known as nad. So there comes a concept of nad after all these things. Okay. Before the concept of nad, there is one more method known uh, in Vasisht Samhita, which is known as the method of pranjay. Pranjay means how one can conquer the pran. One is method is the practicing of pranayam, practicing of Kesait and Keval Kumbhak. Other method of pranjay to win that pran, to conquer that pran is you have to fill up the stomach with air completely. Then, one by one, concentrating at the toe of the feet, concentrating at the navel point, and concentrating at the top of the nose. These 3 points the person must have to focus on with the filling of the stomach completely with air. Okay, it means inhaling, and during the holding, during the kumbhak, that person must have to concentrate first on the toes, then on the navel, then on the top of the nose. How much time that person have to concentrate, that is not mentioned in Vasishtha Samhita. So that can be according to the capacity. And if a person practice like this, then again that person can get all the benefits of pranayama. Okay. Even if a person is having difficulty in understanding how, what is the matra, what is bij mantra, how to inhale, how to exhale, that person just have to do one thing: fill the stomach completely with air and concentrate on the toe of the feet again and again up to 16 times. Then when it become comfortable to focus on the toe, till the time of 16 rounds, then you can shift your focus on the navel for 16 rounds. Then you can shift your focus on the nose for 16 rounds. Okay. So that is the practice of pranjay, which is mentioned in Vasishtha. After that, the presence of nad comes in. Because in the last, we have seen that if a person gets in Keval Kumbhak, achieve Keval Kumbhak, that person is capable of listening to the inner sounds or creating the nad. Okay. How a person can listen to that inner sound? That person has to close the ears and other sense organs by the both of their hands. It is very much similar to the Brahmari pranayam which we are practicing in the practical classes. So what a person has to do, they have to close their ears up to their capacity with both of the thumbs, closing the eyes with 4 fingers, closing 2 of the nostrils with middle fingers, and when they close their ear, nose, and eyes by this method, the sound which is there inside the body, that started resembling as a pure crystal sound, or that sound, you can understand it like that sound which is already there inside the body, that becomes a little bit audible to that person. Generally when we are practicing the Brahmari pranayam, what we are practicing is the vibration of that brahmar, we are creating consciously like but there to create a sound is not mentioned in Vasishtha Samhita. There is only the act of how you have to sit after practicing pranayam, and then you will be able of resembling a pure crystallic sound from the inside, which is known as na. So in the beginning, if a person start practicing like this, a beginner will be capable of listening a sound which is very much similar to the couch blow. It means if you have listened the sound of air blowing, or if you just take a vessel in front of your mouth and blow air into it, you will listen to a sound. That type of sound you can listen from the inside of the body. If the person is if the person keep practicing this type of practices of pranayam and sitting by closing the sense organs by the palm, thumb, forefinger and middle finger, then that person comes into the middle stage of listening to nad, which is very much resembler with the thunderstorm sound. The sound during the time of present weather around Uttarakhand is like you can listen to the sound of growling of clouds all the time. That type of thunderstorm sound you can listen from the inside of your body. And if you keep practicing, you will see that when the air, which is consisting pran, enters into the body, there is a sound like the whole is containing the air inside. Whole, which is in English known as vyom of Sushumna Nadi, that whole will give you a sound of mountain stream. It is like if you are standing at the hill of at the top of a hill, and if you try to listen to the sound of air, the same type of sound you can listen at the end stage of the nad inside from inside the body. So these are the three stages of nad: the beginning, middle, and the end. And three types of sounds are given there. For the beginning sound, it is similar to the couch blow. The middle sound is similar to the thunderstorm sound, and the end of Nad is very much resembling to the sound of mountain stream. So you must have to keep in mind the stages of Nad and the sounds which are resembling the sound of these Nad. The beginning Nad is similar to this, middle is similar to this, and end is similar to mountain stream. Then there comes the concept of Pratyahar at the end of the chapter number 3. And we all know what the Pratyahar is. The same type of definition is present there in Vashistha Samhita. Indriyanam vichratam vishyetu swabhavatah. It means your senses, Indriyanam means Indriyan. Your senses, vichratam. Vicharna means continuously roaming around. Vishayeshu. Vishay means the topic at which or on that topic your senses are roaming around. Swabhavatah. It means normally your senses are continuously attached to some of the topics, some of their own point of concerns. It's like your nose has to keep the smell inside your body and make your mind aware of this. Your eyes has to completely all the time, if it is open, they must have to focus on the vision in front of you, and they must have to keep giving the sensation to the mind. So, in the same sense, all the five indriyas are connected to their own topics, to their own vishay. When a person baladaharanam tesham pratyaharaha sa uchyate. Baladaharanam means forcefully, balpurvak. Forcefully, if you keep them away from their sense topic, tesham, then it's pratyahar sa uchyate. Then it is said to be practice of pratyahar. So what we can understand is the forcible withdrawal of all the senses from their respective objects, from their respective topic of concern, wherein by nature they indulge. It means nature has made up the senses like they are all the time roaming around some of the objects, some of their own object. Eye has to continuously see the vision and keep the mind aware of it. Nose has to smell, tongue has to taste, skin has to sense, ear has to listen. So all these five senses have their own respective objects of focus. And when we forcibly withdraw the senses from their objects, then it is called or it is known as Pratyahara. Other than this, one must have to see all, whatever he sees, as self in the self. It means whatever you are watching outside, you can connect that to your inside of the body. It means whatever is outside is the manifestation of your inside body, is the manifestation of your inside thoughts. So, if a person who is practicing yoga, who is conversant in yoga, that person can see everything out as the manifestation of inside world. That is also known as pratyahara, but that stage takes very big long time to come in, when a person can feel what pratyahara is. Okay, because it is like everything is you and you are everything. When that sense comes automatically, then it is known as the practicing of pratyahara. With the same thing, when a person is doing the same all the duties within the self, with mind, and without any external aid of all those actions which are prescribed to do by a human being, which are prescribed to do compulsorily by a human being, these practices, if a person choose that, okay, even though a person is telling me to do this, this is very obligatory for you to do, but I will not do this because I don't feel like this is important for me to go through this process. I will choose to not grow with this. I will choose to understand the thing first and then go with it. Then it is also known as the excellence mean of yoga and called Pratyahar. Pratyahar is also a type of like making yourself aware what is right for you, what is wrong for you, and choose the right. Even that right thing is hard for you to do. Just choose to do that right thing. That practice is also known as practice of Pratyahara according to Vashistha. In the last, it is said that all yogis agreeably do appreciate the Pratyahara, which is characterized by holding the air at 18 vital places of the body. So there are basically four different types or four different ways of practicing pratyahar given in Vasisht Samhita. One which is very common, withdrawal of the senses with their respective object. Second, by a person's practice who is seeing self in the self, who is like making everything from the inside and manifesting everything from the inside, understanding the things not in presence of moh and maya, and creating them away from maya. Okay, then performance of all the actions within the self with the aid of knowledge and not with the desire. That is also known as pratyahar. And in the last, pratyahar is characterized as the holding of your breath, holding of your air at different 18 vital points of the body. Okay. These 18 vital points we must have to learn for the exam purpose, which is important according to the perspective of NIT exam. Okay. So we can go through these 18 vital points. This picture, you guys already have this picture in the chapter number 2. This picture is containing all the 18 vital points, but what we have to see for the exam purposes, we must have to learn all the names. What are these 18 vital points? And what is the distance of these vital points in the measurement of finger? Because you have seen in the starting, human body measurement system according to versus Samhita is given according to the fingers, 96 fingers of for total body. So these 96 fingers are the reference proceeding according to vital points. You will start the distance with big toe, then see how much distance from the big toe ankles are present. It is present at 4.5 fingers from the big toe. Then middle of the calf muscles. These are present at 10 fingers from the ankles. Then upper end of the shin bone, which is known as tibial tuberosity. That is 11 fingers away from the middle of the calf. So it is like going upward, and you must have to keep these points in mind and these numbers in your mind. Okay. So knees will be almost 2.5 fingers away from the tibial tuberosity. Middle of the thighs are 9 fingers up from the knees. Then bottom of the anus, which is also known as the excretory point, Gudamar, that is 9 fingers up from the middle of the thigh. Then middle of the whole body, which is Kandasthan, which is Deha Madhya, is 2.5 fingers from the bottom of the anus. Then penis, which is 2.5 fingers from the middle of the body. Navel, which is 10.5 fingers from the penis region. Middle of the heart is 14 fingers from the navel. Cavity of the throat is 6 fingers from the middle of heart. Then root of the tongue is 4 fingers from the jugular notch. Jugular notch means the back side of your throat, at which the tongue is placed. Okay. Root of the nose is 4 fingers from the root of the tongue. Region of the eyes is half finger from the root of the nose. Interval between the two eyebrows is again half fingers from the region of the eyes. Forehead is 3 fingers from the interval between the eyebrows. And vyom, which is very, very important, is 3 fingers from the forehead, which is also known as the Sahasrarth Sthan, the end point of Sushumna. Okay, and all the things you can keep in your mind. If you see this diagram 2 to 3 times, you must have to start from the base. Okay, just first learn the 18 names and then go with their numbers. At least if you are not capable of learning the numbers, you must have to keep these 18 names in your mind with the same order. What are the 18 vital points? Big toe, ankle, middle of calf, upper of the shin bone. Like the same name, you must have to keep in mind with the order. Okay. And that is how the chapter number 3 will be completed at the end by the imposing of these spots. How, what will be happening if a person is doing this? By mentally imposing the vayus on these spots, one should concentrate the air on these spots and should withdraw the air from it by each and every place. Then it is supposed to be the best practice of Pratyahara. It is more or less similar to the practice which we are doing as Yoga Nidra. If you guys are aware with the instructions of Yoga Nidra, generally what we do is we make the student or we make the client understand to focus on the big toe. Then we try to move their consciousness upward on the ankle, then move on the upward middle of the calf. So almost all the points which we do consider in Yoga Nidra, they are the 18 vital points. And what we are doing, what we are trying to do in Yoga Nidra is also that when we are telling a person that you must have to concentrate on the ankle, there will be a breath in between the instruction. That person will inhale, and when that person is holding the breath, only on that time he can focus on that area, because during the time of inhalation person cannot focus completely. Okay, so during the time of retention of the breath, if we are focusing on ankle mentally, it is said that hold the prana, hold the breath on the ankle. Even though physically you can think it is not possible, but mentally it is possible. So that practice is known as the best practice of pranayama. A person who is wise and learned person of this practicing, they have to practice this aforesaid yogic function, which is known as pranayama, and they will never to return from there again. It means if they do this practice of pranayama and pratyahara, they will never return back. They will keep going further for the upcoming practices. Okay, so this is the whole context of chapter 3 of Vashistha Samhita. You will get this learning this PDF for the revision. Tomorrow we are going to see the revision of chapter number 3, and we will start the chapter 4 after that. Okay. So kindly Get the revision of that, and we'll meet tomorrow. If any question you have, you can ask.